Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try to learn how to speak Illuminati, but this is a very, very, very ancient language, and we're going to try to look into the magic behind the whole nonsense. And it takes magic so as to control the world. And it's all word magic, and you can see over here you have a circle, and you have a Vesica Pisces, and you have a triangle. We'll get into that in a second. But first we have to start a long time ago in Egypt, where we had a god, okay, that known as Apis, that was the inspiration for the letter A. Now, Apis here became the letter A through time, okay? So it went from here, from there, and it became the letter A. Now, A is also Aleph, which is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is associated to the bull still, as you can see. You see the bull here? Well, hidden in this little symbol here, and you can see the bull. You see, these are the two horns, okay, and the bull. All right, so this is all part of the letter A. But the letter A is not like our letter A, where A is for apple, and that's the end of the story. A is for the number 1. It's associated to a number. It is associated to attributes, as the letter A is the attribute of, God. So here we have a text here. You are the image of the invisible God and the firstborn of every creature. By you all things are created that are in heaven and that are in earth. Anyways. Visible, invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or power. Now remember all of this, because you have to refer to this again. All things were created by you and for you. You are before all things, and by you all things exist. You are the head, the body, the church, the beginning, the firstborn from the dead. Okay, so we have already dead associated with God here. Well, anyways, so the story of Aleph here is that Aleph is God, all right? We can go see on some other definitions all the way down here. We see Aleph over here. We see Aleph, and it is the basic meaning: God, creator, first, strength, leader, Lord, king, and sovereign. Okay, all this is associated to Aleph. Now, this is bad, okay, because it started a long time ago in Egypt, and it kept on going, and it went here. It started from here, as we see, and it gave you this nonsense. As you can see, Moses came down the mountain with his witchcraft, okay? God did not speak in witchcraft, or did he plan on giving Moses tablets with witchcraft? He probably carved up his own witchcraft in the mountain and said God gave it. That's, you can see God here is Aleph, all right? He is the alphabet, okay? And the alphabet, I have to get to this. The Aleph bet, the first and the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet, actually is the word father. And the first and the second letter of the alphabet gave birth to everything that has to do with 12, like the 12 apostles, the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 Ayman inside of the Quran, and the 12 hours, which is hours is a anagram for Horus. Okay, so the 1 and the 2 is associated also to geometric shapes, as a circle, all right, which you can see on top of Aleph here, as well as the Vesica Pisces, or the crescent moon for Beth, as it two angles, as the numerical system over here was created with angles. 1, 2 angles, 3 angles, 4 angles, 5 angles, 6 angles, 7 angles, 8 angles, and all the way to 9 angles. So angles, which is also an anagram for angels. That's why the Father, God, is, and God is surrounded by angels, which is angles. There we go. Okay. So your Father here is also can be represented by a circle and a crescent moon, and the Vesica Pisces and the circle, which gives you the eyeball. All right. Now the eyeball can be found on church, in churches, and also represents God. Okay, and he also was the star in the film over here. What was I going to say? Lord of the Rings. So, the sun worshipping in the Catholics, by the Catholics, is on Sunday, which is a word magic, sun day, and then moon day is associated to the moon day. All right, so that is how word magic and symbolism all work together in creating words. Now, the symbol is in the Hebrew alphabet. The Aleph Bet is a phonetic duality for alphabet. Now, you understand that why his son was the Word. Okay, when you open the Bible, what do you see? Words. And can you see the Lord? Can you see the Father? Yes, you can, because he's the Aleph Bet. So they never lied to you that you cannot find God inside of the Bible or any religious books, because he's the alphabet. You see, it's a trick. This all has to do with witchcraft, and the very first, one of the very first cards associated to inside of the house, which is house of God, is the magician, okay, as well as the fool. So you can see that this was a trick. Now there are some other tricks we have to look into, because why does 21 associate to the Father? I told you it's because it's the way the Father was written. They made it into Aleph Bet. Now 777 adds up to 21, and it's very important. Through the Kabbalah, you will find that the lightning of creation, okay, equals 777. So the 777 is not an accident. It's all taken out of this so as to make it work. They put it all together. This was witchcraft. I guess it was, you know, like an important thing for them. So this is the sword. Now the sword means words. It's an anagram for words, okay? So you have a sword here that does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is also associated to angles, all right? 7 angles, so it's 7. So inside of this nonsense here, you have the 22 paths, which is also associated to the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. And when you take 22 divided by 7, all right, you get pi. And those are one of the attributes of God, is that he is infinite. And you will find out that God speaks through pi. That's right. If any of the gematria of the word can be associated to the infinite mixed up numbers inside of pi in some way or some form, that means God said it. So that is the reason why that's important to know. Now, I want you to see this, because this is important, because the Father has been very, very, very busy. So as you can see on the protocol of the Elders of Zion, okay, this little booklet gave rise to a lot of nonsense. But then you had the Communist Manifesto, okay? This is another book, okay, that was written with words, as well as the little red book here that was written with words and alphabet. You have Memph Kempf that was written with words and alphabet. And you had fascism, and those are words and what's it called? Words and alphabet that are composed. So this, I know, just follow, just hold on, okay? You can see the magic on his sleeve here, okay? You have 4 angles right here, and then you have 4 angles on the inside. That's 44, and that's magic. And I think you recognize the little circle and the cross, which we can find through Aleph here. And the cross, you can find it all the way at the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is Tav. Okay, so Mr. here had something going on, and he wasn't the enemy as you think he was. He was actually working in coordination with them. Okay, so as you can see, this coin was stamped just before the war, and it's a sort of like a commemorative coin on a understanding. Okay, so here you have the word magic with a C and magic with a K hidden in the symbol here. So the pictogram here means a lot. Now, this pictogram is associated to witchcraft through the understanding of the pictogram, as you have 6 pointed stars, 6 mini triangles, and 6 sided hexagon in the inside, and that brings us back all the way to gematria, which is how you can coordinate words with numbers, letters with numbers, and you can have a 666 in simple gematria through the word witchcraft. And the 666 is kind of very important because it brings you back to this symbol. All right? And the 111 is important because going back to here, the triangle, an equilateral triangle equals 3. Okay? And well, it actually equals witchcraft, but witchcraft is associated to 111. And 111 equals 3. All right, and 3 angles equals triangle. Okay, so there you go. And that's the I, and the Vesica Piscis is the alphabet. So the alphabet is used to, the pictograms is used throughout history to make your life absolutely miserable. All right, so let's look at the creator. The word author is the originator as well as creator. That's the definition of author. Okay, now that sounds like, okay, where are you going with this? Well, I'm going to government, where authority is just the word author given its authority. Okay, and that's your government, and government is control mind. And where do you get your control mind? From the author, and you can see the authors of these books. Okay, so that's how they created the mess we're in. It's through pictograms. And for people that think that the Bible is any different, it's not. Okay, let's look at the symbol here where we have the 2 pillars of Freemasonry. I think this one is, you got one that's Jason and Boaz, and it just happens to be, what do you see on the top here? You have something that looks like pearls, and this gave us the pearly gates. All right, so all of this is created through witchcraft. Okay, it's the understanding that this is that, but that's not this. And when you start understanding that nonsense, is that these 2 are alike, but this one's on the right, this one's on the left, one's named Boaz and the other one's named Jason. Okay, so even though this is that, that's not this. All right, so that's how witchcraft works, and they've been going through history making nonsense happen for everybody. Let's look at the communism here, where communism is, if you look at the symbol of communism, it is the actual weapon, all right, which is associated to 7. It's Zion, and the cursive of Zion looks like a sickle. And when you put it together, well, you have your Communist Party. The Communist Party was celebrates on the 1st of May, and now you start understanding how this all works. As you can see, the circle, 1 is associated to the circle, and May is associated to the star, which is 5. Again, witchcraft is behind this, and you can find the little symbol of this, this star inside of the Kabbalah. The World Economic Forum, what's going on today, it's no different. You can see the little arc here going through the OOO, and the circle, the O here, is the 15th letter of the alphabet, and that's 1 plus 5, 1 plus 5, 1 plus 5, which is your 666, and that brings us back to witchcraft. So you need to understand that everybody has a pictogram problem on this planet, and everybody has a, gets manipulated through the pictograms, and they start acting like butts, okay? Like real buttheads, not understanding that your laws, okay, are the same thing, okay? Your laws, the ones in the Quran, the one in the Bibles, all these laws, you can see the pictograms, okay? You see the alphabet, well, that's your father, and you see the word, that's your Jesus, and this stuff has been going on for too long, and we all have a pictogram, which I'm gonna call it addiction. We have to get off of it, All right, so witchcraft is also represented inside of the triangle here through an equilateral triangle is 60 degrees, 60 degrees, 60 degrees. A circle means has no angles, means nothing. So it's 666, and 666 can be seen in the symbol of the Illuminatis, and that's your witchcraft. Okay, so all of this nonsense comes from pictograms. Oh yeah. And Jesus here dying on the cross, it's because, as you can know, the first letter of the alphabet is Aleph, which is associated to Lord, and the cross here is the last letter of the alphabet, which means that's where the alphabet ends, and that's why Jesus dies on the cross. God dies on the cross. That is the complete alphabet you're looking at. Okay, see ya. That's going to be it for today.